In this video, let's see how to trigger a journey. From the left navigation menu, click on Journeys and click on the plus icon to create a new journey. What you see here is the journey canvas onto which we'll start adding several blocks and design a user journey. So the first block that we're considering is a trigger. Now, triggers are entry points or conditions that set the context in which users will enter and experience the journey that you have designed for them. Such triggers are called entry triggers in WebEngage. There are about 5 of them, and now let me explain them one by one. The first one is occurrence of an event. So when your user performs a specific action on your app or your website, this action can be considered a trigger. In this case, I want to target users who have added nearly 3 products in their cart. So that is when that user will enter the journey that I'm going to design. The event here is added to cart, and click on the filter icon here to further narrow down the scope of your event occurrence. In my case, the cart size needs to be 3. Click on apply and click on save. And there you go. That's how you add an entry trigger that is based on a specific event that your user performs. The next entry trigger is segment based. In this case, you can customize the journey experience to a specific group of users who either enter a segment or exit a segment or are already present in a segment that you choose. So drag and drop the entry trigger onto the canvas and click on this to configure the segment based entry trigger. I want to target users who enter a segment which is browse greater than 5. Once you select a segment, you would also be able to preview a snapshot of its users, the total number of users with a split of known and unknown users, and also the number of users who are reachable in these segments. You will also be able to get a glimpse of the rules of segmentation here. Click on save, and that's how you add a segment based entry trigger. The next entry trigger is when a user attribute changes. Now, using this trigger, you can customize the journey experience to those users whose specified attribute changes. For example, when the age of a user changes, they will enter this journey. So, you might want to target millennials or anybody who's crossed the age of 25 or has crossed the age of 50, so on and so forth. Click on the user attribute entry trigger and choose the operator, which is any or specific. Any change here means the user will enter the journey as soon as the attribute value changes. What it changes to doesn't matter here. Whereas specific change here means the user will enter the journey only when the attribute value changes to a specific value that you mention. So the second drop down here is for you to choose the user attribute. In this case, it is age. Click on save, and that's how you add an entry trigger when the user attribute changes. The next one is for specific users. You can manually curate the target audience for a journey by either uploading a CSV with the user details or specifying the user IDs manually for the target users. The history gives you insights into users who have entered the journey and those who haven't, so you can go back to the data source and fix the errors. The last one is a geofence. The geofence entry trigger makes location based engagement a walk in the park. All you need to do is create a virtual fence around a location on the map. And each time a user enters or exits the fence that you create, you can engage them with messages specifically tailored to their location, behavior, and preferences in real time. So just decide how the trigger needs to happen, either when the user enters a specific geofence or exits a specific geofence. So that's how you use journey triggers to start a journey experience for your users.